Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another Where Who You Are Wednesday. We're coming at you with another Nat Chat. I am recently off some very fun travels that I did with my niece, Ashley. We went to Barcelona, Menorca, Berlin, Lisbon, and then I peeled off to a wedding in a small village in Spain. And we had a great time. But this brings my question directly to you from Ashley. Well, as we were preparing for the trip, this was her first time in Europe. And she asked, as she was preparing, what shoes should I pack for walking in? Should I buy new shoes? And she had been told by TikTok or somewhere searching online that she should buy this certain pair of shoes. And my answer to her when she texted me about it, I said, well, I'm just going to wear whatever shoes I wear around New York or when I'm walking around anyway. She laughed and said, haha, fair. So that brings me to answer this question. When you are traveling, and we're not talking about traveling like hiking or any special trip where you do have required special gear to help you through. We're talking about just traveling even in the US, let's say Chicago or New York or Europe, Barcelona, London, somewhere like that. We're going to talk about the two considerations for shoes, for footwear. One is style. Two is comfort. So first, style. Most of you listening are Americans. And if you do not want to stand out as an American tourist traveling, I would highly recommend that you do not buy and wear brand new big clunky walking shoes. So I always have this image of the Halloween costume that I'm dressed up as a tourist with the shorts and the button down, Hawaiian shirt or whatever it is, and a big clunky walking shoe and a hat. And so if you do not want to stand out as the tourist, which I personally is my goal, I usually don't, even though I'm sure people know that I am, but I don't want that target on my back. Don't buy a brand new big pair of walking shoes. Now let's move to comfort. Comfort means not buying new shoes because you don't know if they're going to blister. You don't know how they're going to feel on your toe box, your arch, any of those things. So I always recommend wearing a pair of shoes that are tried, that are tested, that work well for you if you are going to be doing a lot of walking and touring neighborhoods. But also you should know your itinerary. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're taking cabs everywhere. Maybe you're inside. And so think through like you would your regular days, waking up and thinking, what am I doing today? What are the activities and what footwear will support me? So for me, if I'm packing for, let's say the trip that I just went on, the shoes I brought were a daytime walking shoe that was fashionable enough that I knew could get me through all of the walking on a day when we were touring cities. I knew that it could go with a lot of with the dresses, the pants, the different things that I brought because I've worn it. I've already styled them. I've worn them that way in my everyday life. And then the other pair of shoes that I brought were for dinners, for evenings or nicer days, a block heel. So the reason I wore a block heel was I know this is comfortable. I know that it can take me, again, quite a few places. It has a cushioned footbed. I've worn it a lot. It styles really beautifully with all of the things that I brought. And in old cities, there's a lot of cobblestone. So you don't want a spiky heel that could get ground down on the cobblestone. So I knew this was a durable shoe that I could wear. So when you're packing, when you're traveling, those are the things I would consider. Look at your itinerary and know what supports your day, just like it would in your everyday life. And those are my tips for traveling. If you would like some more, we have a shoe guide from BU Style that I will link in the show notes that can give you a range of shoe options that hopefully can support your everyday footwear that can work with your travel. And I hope you are going somewhere super fun this summer and that your travels will take you to many places and you'll have lots of adventures. Thanks so much for coming to another Where Who You Are Wednesday. We'll see you next time.